Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to All Four Queens 555. So, excuse me for chewing, but I do have a bit of indigestion, and also I've got a lot of people pulling on me. So, if I'm chewing, it's just so I can release the energy a little bit. It helps me do it that way, and everyone to their own, really. So, excuse me. I've got some detox music going on in the frequency music going on in the background. Hopefully, it's not too loud. So let me just introduce the channel. It's all about warfare, spiritual warfare, healing and awakening. And when we awaken, we tend to hit into spiritual warfare. And basically that's just revelations and clarity and all the things that subconsciously we knew, but obviously we think we get the facts there and then. And as you've seen on my channel, it was very much about all the abuse and the bullying and the hidden stuff and keeping me isolated while everybody else had a great life. So leading on to that, I think on some of my earlier ones I've talked around the modern slavery. Now what I tend to do on the channel, I do scripture, I do cards, and I also want to put a bit of legislation out there as well. I'm not giving people legal advice, but I do strongly recommend people should be aware of what their rights are in their countries, and if you do need to enforce it, then please do reach out to the appropriate people that can help you, obviously, who are certified to help you. But today, because obviously what I want to sort of talk around is, obviously we know that I've been kept in a little box in a Truman show, and been locked away, and I did one about the bird cage. And the interesting part about the bird cage, well, people thought they were putting me in a bird cage and siphoning off my energy. What they didn't realise, from a spiritual perspective, they blocked the ancestors from being in their rightful place in the spiritual realm. So spiritually, we might lose our vessels when we pass, but we don't lose the spirit, because the spirit never dies. It's alive. It's still there. It's just not in a vessel. So what they didn't account for was the actual ancestors were being blocked out of what they should have done as well. And obviously there is work to be done in the spiritual realm as well. So in that, no, I wanted to just elaborate a little bit on the Modern Slavery Act. Now that's what we have in the UK, and it's the Modern Slavery Act 2015. And I want to talk a little bit around the TRAFFICKING. So I want to explore it a little bit and what it actually says, because I don't think people realise some of the things they do actually have legal consequences. And I think in the early part of this process, people were sending all sorts of things to me in terms of a bride bird cage and finding it quite funny. And it may be quite funny, but legally there's an implication to it. So in terms of that, legislation often refers to the legal frameworks criminalising the recruitment, transportation or harbouring of individuals through force, fraud or coercion for exploitation. In the UK, this is considered consolidated primarily under the Modern Slavery Act 2015, which covers both trafficking and various forms of modern slavery, such as servitude and forced labour. Now, we see a little bit of servitude and forced labour in the human rights as well, and that's in the UK, obviously, but I do encourage people to understand what your own legislation is and your own rights are in your own country. The key components of the UK trafficking legislation: the offence, Section 2, a person commits a human trafficking offence by arranging or facilitating the travel of another individual with the view to them being exploited. This applies regardless of whether the victim is an adult or a child and whether they consent to the travel. Definition of exploitation. Section 3. Exploitation includes sexual exploitation, forced or compulsory labour, organ removal, or compelling a person to provide services or benefits, including criminal activities, through force, threats or deception. The penalties, both human trafficking and forced labour, carry a maximum sentence of life imprisonment upon conviction. The supply chain transparency, Section 54. The legislation requires commercial organisations operating in the UK with a total total turnover of 36 million or more to publish an annual modern slavery statement outlining the steps they have taken to ensure their operations and supply chains are free from trafficking. There's an international scope. UK courts possess extraterritorial jurisdiction around the UK. Nationals can be prosecuted for trafficking offences committed anywhere in the world. And there's an international framework, the Preliminary Protocol, formerly known as the Protocol to Prevent, Suppress and Punish Trafficking in Persons, especially women and children. This United Nations Convention forms the basis for the most global anti-trafficking legislation. The Human Rights Article 4, the European Convention of Human Rights, prohibits slavery and forced labour, shaping the human rights obligations of European nations to protect the victims and prosecute traffickers. Now, why have I read that? Because one of the things that I've noticed on this journey, excuse me, well, I'll just make sure the laptop's still on. We have laws for a reason, and as part of social justice, I expect all laws to be applicable to everyone and not just to the few. And what I mean by that is, you'll have seen in my story, there are some in positions of privilege and power that have basically been avoided from the law, and they don't get immunity, like just because of the position that they've got. Well, I personally believe they shouldn't get immunity for the position that they have. I personally believe we need to be moving into a new world where if you do the crime, you do the time, and that means irrespective of what position you hold and what network you're in, if you break the law, then be expected that the law is there for a reason. So is legislation, and that therefore you are accountable to it. And I hope that my story and my channel and the things that I've talked about will bring that out, and people will start to think about the things to do. Because when I first started this channel, I talked about mindfulness. Be careful what you do, you say, you think, and your words, because whether it's physical realm or spiritual, we still have consequences either way. And consequences spiritually, I think, are far greater because they are instant. We're not in the year of the age of Piscean anymore. We're in the age of Aquarius. There is no veil, and when you do something, you get your karma instantly if it's not for the highest good. And also, I do believe that if we look around the world, and there's karma going on all over the world at the minute, things are being exposed, and those that have been corrupt in their desires to do whatever they wanted to do, it's all coming out now. Exposure is coming out, and people are being held accountable for their actions, and that is karma. So you might have got away with it for 30, 40 years, but now, I say God, source, universe, Allah, whoever you believe in and whoever you resonate with, for me, the universe has to balance, and we cannot be living in a world of deceit, manipulation, greed, pride, ego, and stealing from everyone else and pushing everybody else down, and some people not being accountable for the laws that we all have and we all know right from wrong. And I talk about the Bible and talk about 10 commandments. I don't think you need to be religious to be righteous, and we need to do the right thing. We're taught as children what is right and what is wrong, and we're taught if it's not yours, you don't take it. And that's the same as going into a shop. You don't take anything if it's not yours, and therefore you don't steal from other people if it's not yours. And I think we need to get back to that and understand that the law is there for everyone. And hopefully, in time, we will see a shift in the world, and that everyone will be able to be prosperous, and there will be more kindness. And I'm not saying everybody's going to be kind, no, but those that don't want to be kind, stay in your lane. And those that do, and those that are ready to grow and to change and to release some of these generational curses on their bloodline, because remember, everything we do is a curse, either on your bloodline or it's karma for you. And everybody associated to you who get involved with it are guilty by association, and therefore they take the karma as well. And they talk about that in the harem shield. So I'm hoping that people will understand that, you know, we need a world that's changed, and we want the world to be a better place for everyone. And I'm not saying that everyone wants that, no. But if you don't, then leave those that do, and let us all live in the world in our own way, but with more respect. That's all I ask for, more respect, because the things that I've gone through, as everyone can see, and the lack of support I got is challenging. I mean, it's like I've tried to move from here, but someone's in my phone and it got blocked. So you could argue, why are they trying to force me to stay here, and why are they still in my phone, and why are they blocking things when they don't have the right to do that? Doesn't that go against my human rights? One, right for privacy, and two, the right to life. So you see what I mean? So it's like, I'm just trying to make it clear that, you know, we are our own people, and much better to be around the people that want the world to be a better place, because I do, and I'm sure there's a lot of people do. So I hope that makes sense, the modern slavery, and from a spiritual perspective, we know people steal energy, and we know, and like I've just said, why are they forcing me here? Is it so they can try and pull on my energy? There's a lot of dark energy being projected as well. You know, there's obviously a lot of subliminals about the floor. Why am I still here? And why are they messing with my phones? And we already know from the surveillance point of view, because I posted about that. So yeah, so and also I did watch, just for reference, I did watch one of those famous judges on YouTube today, Judge Judy, and I really like the way that she's breaking down some cases that she has sat on and done some really great stuff. And hopefully we can get more judges like that, and more people in authority that take their position seriously and take it with gratitude, being humble, but also knowing. She actually said the words human truth. It's not just about the rule of law, but it's about the human truth. And I really like that statement, because I just thought that makes, you know, she's not just looking at it from a legal perspective, but she's looking at it from a humanity perspective. And that's what we're missing a little bit, even through all like the police and everything else, governments, you name it. There needs to be a bit more of a humanity approach to it. And I think I mentioned that in my police report and in my hospital report, where I actually wasn't treated with any respect whatsoever. And I think that if people are in service, they need to look at how they treat people. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm hoping that makes sense. I did manage to get some clean, fresh water this morning, so I'm happy with that. And I'm going to start drinking a little bit more so I can get more hydrated, because the weather's been quite warm here today. So I hope that helps, and I'll catch you next one. See you later. Sending you much love and a lot of healing, and hopefully, you know, keep going, and hopefully we will have a world. So keep stand up, speak and speak your truth, and hopefully we will have a world that's a better place for everybody, not just for the few. Catch you next one. Bye.